Welcome to The Real Thing, Luke Goss.
Nice to be here, my friend.
Let's start off with talk about Bros. You guys were awesome and really popular in Australia. You sold out Wembley 10 times, 13 hit singles. What makes you decide to slow down the music thing and move on to acting?
You know what it was? I think it's like 15 odd years ago now when I decided to leave the band and do all that stuff. I did some theatre. I was asked to do this show by a theatre director in London, in repertory theatre, called, her name was Marina Caldroni, and she offered me the role, and I was like, okay, let's meet about it and talk about it. And then, long story short, I did the show. I absolutely fell in love with theatre. And then I did this small independent movie called 2 Days and 9 Lives, which was kind of like a method set, really heavy kind of piece about drug addiction. I fell in love with film, and at that point I realized that that's what I got to do. And I've never done music since that day, and just complete my 31st movie. So I'm definitely happy doing this.
Was it an easier transition going into musicals first?
Not really, because the thing about music is that people are there to see you. They like the songs already. They're fans of what you do, and that's why they're there. With theatre, it's quite intimidating because primarily people are there to see the show. And, the fact that somebody's in it that they like is one thing, but it's not singularly the reason they show up. So it was really terrifying, to be honest with you. But then I fell in love with that, and as soon as I did my first independent movie, I realized that was the truth of acting that really tried to turn me on and made me feel equally, if not more, intimidated. And that's always a challenge for me. And if I can conquer that, then I'm going to stick with it.
Awesome. Speaking of terrifying, one of my favourite characters of yours would have to be Nomak in Blade 2. Tell us about the experience of working on that. Tell us about the experience of working on that flick.
I absolutely love making that character. It was on the page. It was actually pretty sparse, but thankfully Guillermo del Toro and myself, we had a kind of a very similar vision of what we thought that character should be, and he really allowed me to dig in and find the veins of that character. Every pun intended, I guess. But I really enjoyed the isolation of that role. It demanded such an isolated kind of existence. And so in the process of that, I went on a real journey making Nomak. And it was just, I guess it's special for me because it's my first #1 movie in America, and it definitely opened a few doors for me on an acting level. And then creatively, it was the beginning of having more choices. And so I have a real fond spot because that was the beginning of my friendship with Guillermo. And it was, like I said, it's my first studio movie in the United States. So, there was a number of kind of things that were new for me at that point, and so I'll always be very fond of that role. And the response I get from that role, Nomak, is fantastic, even now. So I'm just lucky I got a chance to be the guy that made him,
Absolutely. It was awesome to watch, and it was scary. It was actually scary as well, which was what was so cool about it.
Yes, the thing about, I try with, if I do bad guys, which I don't do so many now, but I always say you have to gamble a bit with the fragility of that character and how fragile the pain that probably caused the anger or the pain that caused the discord in that character. And so with all the fight training and all the badass elements, I still wanted to find a fragile element to Nomak, which I think dudes like, because they know he can kick ass, but they know that it's justifiable in his cause. So that was the point of that role, I think. Is
it more fun playing the bad guy?
Not really. I do. I love playing good guys as long as they've got some issues or there's, some pain in that role. I mean, I've not played an out-and-out good guy with no issues yet. I mean, the next few movies I've got coming out are the heroes of the story, but they're most definitely damaged because of various reasons. And I think that it's almost like an anti-hero at that point, and they're the kind of roles I love. I think an anti-hero that's kind of messed up a little bit and has huge amount of issues is, for me, my favourite kind of role to play.
You reunited with Guillermo del Toro on Hellboy 2, another great role.
Yeah. Thank you.
What's the pressure of coming into a sequel and the expectation? Do you feel that, or do you just take it as another film?
No. I feel very lucky, but I think because of the band and then moving into theatre and film, I still feel very, very, very fortunate to be making movies and to be asked to come into a role like that when just to say the financial spend from the studio's point of view, and then the expectations from the fans, knowing full well that if I don't deliver a nemesis to the story, they're gonna barbecue me alive. And also, then on top of that, I've got my friend Guillermo, who's put his faith in me to bring that role to fruition. And it definitely weighs heavy. And the first day on set, obviously, people don't probably know this, but nobody's seen it. You know, nobody's seen how he walks or he talks. It's all about construction, and you're kind of accumulating different ideas for the role. And the day you step on set is almost like a show and tell for everybody, and it's very intimidating. But it definitely makes me want to come back for more, that's for sure.
Awesome. Well, the new film, Death Race 2, it comes out here on the December the 29th. Seems like the perfect film to watch while you're chilling from the Christmas excess, too much turkey and whatnot. Right. This isn't a sequel, but it's a prequel. What attracted you to doing an origin story?
Well, I got offered the part. They approached me to do it, and I read the screenplay. And I obviously, people are going to think I'm saying this because I'm in it, but I really like the screenplay. I thought it was a lot stronger as far as story is concerned, because it's addressing the beginning of the character Frankenstein and how he came to fruition and how he came about. And this story, you see elements of his life just before Terminal Island, and I know there's been a lot of speculation about is it just lots of scenes from the old movie that weren't used and put together, but it most definitely isn't. I think the fans are actually, and I'm I hope I'm right. I think they're going to really bloody love the film. It's got great action because Raul Rene, the director, who's fantastic and unbelievably talented, really wanted to give the fans a movie they can enjoy. And I watched it, and I saw a test screening in Los Angeles recently, and the response was absolutely unbelievable. So I was really excited.
This is another
film. Then I read it. It's primarily the screenplay that made me want to do it.
Oh, awesome. This is another film of yours with a brilliant cast. Sean Bean's in it, Ving Rhames, Danny Trejo. Plus you got machine guns, cars, hot chicks. Does it get any better than this?
I don't know, For me, I was the one driving the cars and rolling around with a hot chick. So I was definitely happy to be there for sure.
Cool.
I was definitely happy. I mean, Tanit's amazing. She's fantastic, and so is Lauren. And Sean was a joy to work with. And Danny Trejo rocks as much as you hope he would. He's just effing cool. And I don't know. And Ving was just great because I've been a big fan of his for years. So to find myself in that cast and to be making a prequel to a movie that people dig, it was a really great shoot, to be honest. About 9 weeks in Africa, and we had a bloody great time.
Oh, awesome!
South Africa.
I think this is one of the films I'm looking forward to reviewing the most. I don't think I'll be disappointed with this one.
I hope not. It's definitely more story driven, and I know there's been a lot of speculation about it, but I think people are going to be pleasantly surprised.
What's next for Luke Goss?
I have a movie I'm really proud of, actually. Tekken's finally going to be coming out
awesome.
in the United States. I think you may have got it already, but I know that there's also a movie I just completed with 50 Cent and Val Kilmer called Blood Out. And I play, the primary character again in the story, and it's about my brother, basically, who's in a gang. He gets killed, and I go to the police to see what, where the investigations are taking, the case, to find out that not only have they closed the case, which is the detective on the case is 50 Cent or Curtis, but they basically are implying that whoever killed him did their work for them. And I'm like, you're a disgrace.
Yeah.
I'm a cop and he's my brother. So I go under deep cover to find out, a rogue cover, not authorized cover, to find out, try and infiltrate the gang that killed my brother and find out why and who. And it's a really good story. I'm really proud of it. That's on Lionsgate. And there's another movie I just did, a thriller called Pressed, which is a cautionary tale. Again, it's a thriller. My character makes a couple of bad choices and it costs him dearly. I've got a great movie I'm so excited about called The Cure, which there's rumors it may be involved with Morgan Freeman's company and stuff, but it's for the lead role in a story that's loosely based on Chet Baker. Do you know Chet Baker?
The musician?
The singer?
Yeah.
The musician Chet Baker, yeah. It's about a love story, mixed race relationship in the 50s, / some drug addiction, and a beautiful story that's kind of pivoted around the world of jazz, and just a really beautiful story. And I've just been asked to do that, and that's called The Cure. So I haven't actually mentioned that before in any interview, but that's one I'm very, very excited about. Oh,
we love exclusives on The Real Thing. We appreciate that.
It's cool.
The question I always close with, this always gets some people. What's the weirdest thing you've ever been asked by a fan?
A couple of things. It's not the weirdest thing, but I always find it a little strange when boyfriends of very attractive women say, "Do you mind kissing my girlfriend?" one. I always find that strange. I'm like, okay, but I wouldn't be doing that if it was the other way around. But it's happened quite a lot in my life, and when it happens, I'm always confused. But I try to oblige.
Half your luck, I say.
Yeah. I've had some strange encounters. I've had some people in my room before, and you get in there and they're there, and you're sorely tempted. But being a non-single chap, I have to decline.
The movie star, rock star life is a hard one, my friend.
I know. It's rougher.
Well, Death Race 2 comes out on the 29th of December. Awesome to speak to you. Love your roles. Love what you do with them. Thanks for joining us on The Real Thing. Luke Goss.
Thank you. I just want to say, when you're not doing theatre, you're kind of in the hands of comments like that, saying that people like what you do. So the fact you enjoyed anything I've done is a great compliment. I appreciate it. Thanks for your support, brother.
Thank you. Thanks, mate.
Cheers, mate.